What up, everybody? Hope everyone's enjoying their week. August 9th, this Saturday, Reality Wrestling has their next television taping coming off the pay-per-view Summer of Champions. Go to realitywrestling.com. If you have yet to order the pay-per-view, it is only $4.99. Well worth the price. But like I said, August 9th, big television taping, the first since the pay-per-view. All the champions will be in attendance and in action, more than likely. But go to realitywrestling.com for more details. As you can see, some changes. Trim the hair. Been a while, I think over a year since I trimmed the length of my hair, so I thought, man, why not? I was on vacation, hence why there was a little bit of a delay in the release of this latest video. And also trimmed the beard. Same thing, kind of, just time. But I'll probably grow it back, you know how it goes. Enjoyed my vacation, but I am really looking forward to having you guys see this sit-down conversation with not someone from Reality Wrestling, but one of my cohorts from Texas All-Star Wrestling, Jason Sullivan. One of the most over guys at TASW's roster. I found out that August 30th was going to be his last appearance in Texas, and so when I found that out, I reached out to him because I wanted to hear the story from him. What was the deal? And we get into that. We get into quite a bit. It's a very, very candid conversation. We talk about the difference between Oregon, the state of wrestling in Oregon, and the state of wrestling in Texas. We talk about the differences. We just get into a lot of great stuff. I really have a lot of fun talking with Jason. He's really opinionated, and I really appreciate that because I'm opinionated, and you get two guys who are highly opinionated. We talk about everything from our first days to just mindsets, my mindset towards the end of my most recent run, and just quite a bit, man. And I really wish him luck. August 30th is going to be facing Darkstar, one of my old nemesis. Who knows, I may actually show up to that show. Now, before that, a couple weeks before that, and after the August 9th Reality Wrestling television taping, is the Roast of Steve DeMarco. So, if you're in the Arlington area, try to get details. If you're in the Metroplex area, try to get details. If you have questions, feel free to hit me up on Facebook and ask me, and I'll definitely try to give you as much details as I can. And as I get them, hopefully I'll get them here pretty soon, like specifically where the place is, and I'll let you guys know. Now, coming up in the next couple of weeks, man, I'm really honored. The next guest that I'll have, it's Gustavo Mendoza, former Reality Wrestling heavyweight champion, former leader of Team International. We get into a really great conversation about life in wrestling and out of wrestling. Very candid conversation. And then I get to talk to Stash, ref extraordinaire. We talk about everything from wrestling to refereeing matches to, of course, DDP yoga. A lot of fun. But that's in a couple weeks. For now, sit back, relax, and enjoy my sit-down conversation with Jason Sullivan. Until the next time, later! Alright. So August 30th is the last hurrah in Texas?
Yeah, that's it.
You're not coming back? Is it? Are you gonna be like the Terry Funk? Yeah. Be like, this is my last match. Have the cry, the teary-eyed forever. Then
forever.
Like, a year later, you're like, hey guys, I just happened to show up.
No, it's my last full time.
Okay.
I still have family here, and my whole family moved from Portland down here.
Okay.
My mom, my dad, my brother. I've got nephews here, so. And I can't imagine not seeing my nephews for sure.
Yeah.
They're only a year and a half old.
Okay.
So I can't go with more. I'd like to come back here a couple times a year and hopefully time it out.
Yeah. To where it's like a show, like, or you can, all right, Bob, what do you got on the horizon?
Yeah.
So I can, plan my vacation accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what you want to do, though. I'm not getting any younger, so it's like. Right now I've been off for 4.5 months.
Okay.
And it's killing me. It's the longest time I've had off in 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's killing me.
Mm-hmm.
I no wrestling. I'm not running shows. I'm running shows from afar. Like today, I got a show in Portland. You know,
but you're like booking via satellite.
I'm booking via satellite,
via mobile phone.
Yeah.
You're like, here you go.
Like, I'm pretty sure, like once I leave here, I'm gonna have like a ton of messages. And stuff.
Yeah.
Because right now they're just setting up the show. So,
okay.
You know, in about 2 hours, and like.
Yeah. You'll be getting calls right in the middle.
Sometimes I don't though.
No, okay.
Sometimes it's smooth, and then sometimes you just do. It just depends.
So how is it booking like that, where you're not physically at the show? Like, I mean, you must trust your crew enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a assistant, and then I've got 2 other cats that we message back and forth the whole time, and I'll talk to several people usually the day after the show, and I'll message people online, and we'll talk the day after and get the good and the bad. You know, we'll figure out what went right, and like the first 2 shows after I left, they seemed like they went off really well.
Yeah.
The last show was a head scratcher. Like from what I understand, it just didn't work.
Okay.
So,
like from an attendance standpoint, or from
well, the attendance was down slightly.
Mm-hmm.
In Portland in the summertime, the attendance drops. It's not like in Houston where year round we're used to it. You know,
you're used to the heat. And yeah.
In Portland, it drops. Like our peak times are from October all the way through May, unless May breaks early and we get like 80.
Oh, okay.
Day. And then,
whereas, like probably in Texas, there might be a drop off in October.
Yeah.
Because of Texas football.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's the opposite. Wow. Okay.
Well, yeah, because in Portland, it's mild from about like November through, maybe even earlier some years. It's mild from like November through May, June.
Okay.
Because we get the showers all the way through June.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then July, August, and September, it's those are your months to get out, go to the mountains, go to the river.
Yeah, yeah.
And so nobody wants to stay indoors.
Okay.
You know, nobody wants to stay indoors. They want to play outside.
Okay.
And so, and I think one of the things that helps us though in the summertime is that we run on Sundays.
Okay.
And when the weekend is winding up at that point, you know, where if you do it on a Saturday, half the people might be camping. Perhaps.
That's true. That's true.
And so you could get them, you know, but you know it's hard in the summertime sometimes. But last year we did great. We got lucky because for some reason 80, 90 degrees all around that Sunday. Then it hit Sunday, it was 75.
Oh wow.
Or it might rain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if that happens, then it's like you know, I'm sitting there praying.
Yeah, praying for rain.
And this, like today though, unfortunately, I always look at the weather, and throughout the week it's been raining, and in Portland in July it's weird to rain. In August, and then so it's been raining, and then yesterday and today it's like 90 degrees.
Okay.
So I expect attendance to take a slight hit today.
And then how else did it not run? Where you said it was kind of like a head scratcher.
It didn't click.
Okay.
It didn't click.
Just match quality.
Yeah, we had
opponents?
the match wise promos going too long. You know, people talking too much.
Sometimes when they don't have like someone in firm control to be like, hey, come on guys, you don't have to go out there and cut like a 25-minute promo. This isn't Raw, sorry.
Yeah. Well, like my assistant is really good. He's really good at tying everything together for me.
Okay.
My assistant. I think it's really good to have someone to bounce ideas off. And it's one of the things that I'm missing not being in Portland is like sitting around with everybody. Yeah. And all of a sudden all these ideas come together. Where here sometimes I feel isolated. I'm coming up with these ideas, I'll shoot messages off and ask people what they think, but you're not really getting the feedback.
Yeah, because or there might be a delay because you're like in the thick of it. You're like, oh man, this would be a great idea. And then you're like, where's my team?
Where's my critique?
Where's my team, guys? Am I doing this? Am I on the right level? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because you want the critique though, like, and so and we'll have people from out of company come in, like from California or Canada, and I'll always go to these guys and say, hey, what do you think? Yeah. Because these guys have run their own companies. Okay. And I'll always ask them their advice. And you don't always have to go with it, but you want people who aren't in the thick of it. Yeah. To give you their opinion.
Kind of a step back, because it's really easy to get the blinders or be in the bubble.
I used to really have those blinders on. Yeah. I was like, all my guys are the greatest, but now I know where our flaws are. I know where our strengths lie, and it especially like it's weird being off these 4 months have really it's opened everything up more for me.
Yeah.
and I don't know how to explain it. Like, I know what more to do.
Yeah.
To take us to where the next step we need to get to.
Yeah.
I think it's probably because I was able to pull back.
Yeah.
You know, and look at it more from a business angle now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, you know, you want to make money.
Yeah. No. The end of the game. That's probably the hardest lesson for any wrestler guy to really learn. Like, you're concerned about, you know, was the crowd entertained, or the fact that we're putting on a show, because that could be difficult enough, or everybody was working well together. But then it's like, well, okay, great. Have you thought of video production? No. Okay, well, now I got to think of video like, there's so many, and then it's how many butts were in the seats, and how many were comped, and how many. Like, I hate comps. Like, I'm notoriously, you know, I'm bad in this way where my parents will have to pay. Like, I'm not. Yeah, I don't.
Indie wrestling.
Yeah, like girlfriends and such. I'm like, well, just think of it this way: you're helping me out, because that money will come back to me. Like, just think you're giving me, you know, whatever
It keeps us in business.
Yeah.
It's like, people are shocked because my girlfriend, she's been going for years, and you know, like, she shows up before the show, hangs out with everybody, you know, we have all that, but then when it's time to open up the door, she goes right up there and gives her money.
Yeah.
And she's huge on that. And she, like, there was one point, she forgot to bring cash. She was supposed to go to the ATM, and she forgot to bring cash. And so I got someone knocking on the locker room door to me. I come up to the door and goes, yeah, your girlfriend needs $12. And I'm like, just tell her to take a seat. She's like, no, she's not going to take a seat. She wants you to give her $12.
You're like, but you know it's just coming right back to me.
Yeah.
But at least it's the thought. And it gives all the other guys, like, okay, well, I can't be like, hey, Jay, can I?
And it's funny because people go, well, your girlfriend doesn't pay. And I'm like, really? You know, and I'm like, really? And my mom and my brother and everybody went, they always paid.
Yeah.
You know, they were asking for flyers.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, hey, there's this gas station I go to. Or, hey, there's this thing, and they got this little billboard, you know, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
They just wanted to help out, you know, try to get a couple more butts in the seats, and they weren't trying to look for a freebie.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Or kind of a favor, like, come on, man, can I? Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I know. There's some guys though, they just love it. Hey, I'm a star. We'll bring in my cousin, my niece, my aunt. You know, this, and that. They want to see me wrestle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you know.
Do they really want to see you wrestle if they're not willing to pay? That's I always translate it like that. Well, if your family and your friends aren't willing to pay for you, like, why would you expect the rest of the crowd to?
Well, and I had one guy. He and I worked it out because the way he approached me was really different. He was just like, look, I got a bunch of people. They don't really care for it. They just want to come see me. Can you cut me a deal?
Yeah.
Half price.
Cool.
Half price, but no front row. Front row is locked in. That's the golden circle.
Yeah.
You know, we sell. Front row is always sold out for our crew. No matter where we go, it's sold out.
Yeah.
Front row is the gold. We take it. But general, go for it.
Yeah.
You know, you sit wherever you want.
Yeah.
You can sit in the beer garden.
So, what brought you to Texas to begin with? Because, like, I didn't meet you. I think the first time I met you was at that birthday party.
The birthday party that.
Yeah, where it was like, oh, your face and Jason Sullivan. I was like, all right, I don't know who this guy is. And then I was late getting there because of my phone at the time. Just no, go here. And I went, no, but this.
Well, the place is hard to find.
Yeah, it was like your first time being there, and it was extremely hot. I remember it being just ghastly.
You're just coming from Oregon at this point.
Yeah. So I'm sure it was like a culture shock for you, just temperature-wise.
Blowed.
Yeah.
I was blowed.
So what brought you to Texas?
I got family.
Okay.
Family. I've lived here off and on for since 1996.
Okay.
And I come here usually for a couple years at a time, and I'm sure this won't be the last time I've lived here. I've done the drive from here to Portland 10 times. And I love being on the road. I love new things. I love the new feel.
Yeah.
You know, and I like Houston and I love Portland. You know, I like both cities. So I came here just because of work. Yeah. Work and family, and I had a good opportunity, and it's kind of winding down now a little bit. We're kind of in a down cycle, and I'm sure, who knows, a couple of years I'll probably be back again.
Yeah.
So, you know, but at that point I might be starting to age a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. You know, I feel I've still got 2 or 3 years left in me of being here because I started so late that I don't have the wear and tear on me that a lot of people do. I started at 30 years old. I didn't start at 20 or 18.
Yeah.
That's another story we'll talk about. So it's just family. My dad was here, my brother, and I just decided to make the move.
Yeah.
So
I think. I know we got along initially because we kind of had the same mentality when it came to matches. Like, I think a lot of guys have this idea that it's about the moves. Like, how many moves can I get in a match? And I've always joked with guys like, no one really pays me to see me wrestle. They don't pay to see me. They pay to see me kick you in the face, talk a lot of smack, wave to the crowd, give them a good time.
You're an entertainer.
Yeah, I go, anything outside of that, it's all, they're just happy to be there, and I'm just happy to be there, so.
Well, no one pays to see me chain wrestle for
Yeah.
You know, they see me to do the facial expressions and to put the, do the beats.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But, like, my stuff is so simple.
Yeah.
You know, like. Yeah.
Which was another thing, like, I was just like, please, God, let's just have a simple, easy. And then we had that match on Saturday, which was a complete.
Oh, we blew it away. That.
Yeah. And well, at the same time we were at a birthday party.
Yeah.
Friday, it was kind of, I had a good feeling out process. And then Saturday, like, yeah, man, I think, and it started kind of raining.
It was cool though.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was really nice. So you've been here. How long does this go around?
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Because I think I wrestled you about a month into the time I was here.
Okay.
It was. I think.
Yeah, because I saw you
at the Rumble. I was
at the Rumble.
Yeah. And I just kind of showed up. I talked to Bob. We've kept in contact since because I trained with him earlier.
Okay.
So I talked to Bob and just said, hey, I'm going to be in town, and then it just rolled from there.
Yeah.
And I just kind of hung out and. He was like, "You're just working the Rumble," and I'm like, "No, I just want to come and check things out. I want to get my feel." It wasn't I'm not a whore for bookings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't want to just get forced into a spot that didn't mean nothing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to kind of sit back and watch the roster live and kind of get a feel for it and see who was there. Because I think was it you and Nico that night?
I think it might have been me and Nico. Yeah, because it was kind of. Yeah, like I'd already been. Yeah, because I think Nico. He won the year before.
I think so.
Yeah, so this was kind of the build up to it, and I think that was the year that Darkstar won it, right? Darkstar won the.
Oh God, I can't remember.
Yeah,
it all blends together. I think he did win it that year.
Yeah,
I think he did. Yeah, maybe,
possibly.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's I have it written down somewhere, so that I can avoid having to try to remember. So how have you enjoyed your run so far, like working with TASW?
I've had a good time. I've got to work a lot of really cool guys, like yourself.
Yeah.
That was fun, because you were such a different opponent than a lot of the guys in Portland. It's just different style.
Yeah.
You were easy, fun, two guys that just go out there and just... I'm smiling on the inside the whole time.
Yeah.
And then working Ryan.
Yeah.
Just Jesus Christ. I always said that like if Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson had a kid, it was him. He was really easy to work with, and he could go like for a big guy. He's very deceptive, man.
Yeah.
Very deceptive.
Always talking, man. Like that guy never. I don't know how that guy blows up. Yeah.
Well, when he gets to the back.
Yeah.
He's huffing and puffing, but it doesn't hold out there.
Yeah.
I got to work. Darkstar's fun. He's a very mobile big man.
Yeah.
I wish he'd get a little bit more angry though.
Yeah.
Like he seems like he's having too much fun as a heel.
Mm.
And I think he'd make a great babyface, even though he would deny it to the end of his world. because he's all the way he talks and stuff. I think he would be a great face because he of his personality. Mm-hmm. But as a heel, I wish he'd get a little bit more.
Well, sometimes I think for him, he's in that position where it's like no one can beat him. You know, so it's like I don't have to turn it up. Because I know when I've faced him and when I was towards that end where I'm just beating him all the time, like we get to that one match and I could tell like Oh, he's pissed off because it's just
okay.
He knows.
So it's there.
Yeah, it's there. It's just you having to pull it out of him. Like with me and him, it is kind of. I knew him when he was first training, and I mean, so I could kind of like get under his skin to a degree. Like I can put him in a hole and be like, "All right, man, you better fire up. I'm gonna mess you up, dude. I'm eating you a lot." Like just talking smack. And
so you piss him off.
Yeah, just so because again, you got it. Some guys you just have to bring it out of them. Like you have to get them out of their comfort zone. I think Dark Star is a guy who can really just kind of be in his comfort zone, and there are not a lot of guys that are going to be able to get it out of him. So like when you wrestle him on August 30th,
we're going to be attached to a chain and a dog collar.
Oh man,
and it's not one of those little chains that a lot of the guys like.
Yeah,
they get those little thin ones so they don't get hurt too much. Because everybody wants to be a tough guy, but not everybody can be a tough guy.
Yeah.
This is a thick link, and I've done, probably 15 of these already, and it's so funny. I'll wake up in the morning, and I know guys criticize all these hardcore guys and stuff, but if I'm going to do a hardcore match, I don't like to use smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
And it's my own fault. Don't do this at home. I'm just stupid that way. I believe that if you're gonna go, just go.
Yeah.
Just go. And ever since my first one I've had, because when I started out, I thought the hardcore was cool, but I didn't know hardcore.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, once I got a taste for it, there's a stupid side of me that I need to learn how to shut down, but I just won't.
Yeah.
And I'll come out looking like a Klingon.
Yeah.
My head's just all padded up. I'll take my shirt off. Like the next day, I'll take my shirt off, and there'll be links of chain tattooed into my back. And I'll be like, where the fuck did I have that? So it's gonna suck. The people are going, wait, your first match back is gonna be a dog collar death match. And my brother actually asked me that. He was like, that's gonna be your first match back? Because he's seen me in these, and he knows that I just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh yeah.
And that is a hell of a return to the ring. So, how are you feeling physically? I know that you're not wrestling till the 30th, so you've got about another month. But like today, almost a month before it, how are you feeling?
I'm about 60% right now.
Really?
Yeah. It's been 3 weeks since surgery. My last hernia surgery, I've had two. This is my second one. I've had an umbilical, and then this is a ventral. It was from a previous surgery that I had. It was scar tissue.
Oh wow!
And so I'm about 60%. This one's a slower recovery because of where it's located. Because the ventral's up here, the umbilical is obviously down there. And so where it's at, it's a little bit more sensitive.
Yeah. And
it was bigger because I've had it for 2.5 years. I had it when I was working you.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And so it's just we're already wrestling by now after my umbilical hernia.
Okay.
Which was a mistake.
Yeah. You just didn't give yourself time. Yeah.
I was 7 years younger.
Yeah.
And I thought I had the world by the balls.
Yeah.
This time I'm probably about 50, 60. No, probably about 70%.
70%.
I'm feeling better.
It's just today you're like kind of at 50.
Yeah, I'm just tired. Actually, I feel good today, to be honest. I just feel I haven't been in wrestling mode for a while, so by next week I should start being able to do cardio. When I talked to my doctor, he said by the 20th, 23rd, I should be able to hit the ring.
Oh wow!
And start training, and he'll go ahead and release the chains on me and let me go ahead and start working out.
Okay.
And he just said just kind of feel my way through. Hopefully by October I'll be benching heavy again.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to go light in the gym. Even with the hernia, I would go in there and I would have. It was sucked because the last 2.5 years, like before the hernia came on, I had fallen back in love with the gym. I was there for 9 months straight. I was losing weight. I dropped like 30, 40 pounds, but also turned more of it into muscle. And I was, benching heavy and working really good, and then it boom. And so then I tried going with this, and it just didn't work out.
Oh wow!
You couldn't work out with the hernia.
Yeah.
I kept trying. I couldn't get insured because I had a pre-existing condition.
Oh.
It's like, so the last 2 years have been, like, the first 6 months with the hernia I did okay, but then after that I started going into conservative mode.
Yeah.
And it affected my wrestling, and it affected my work.
Yeah.
And everything. And so, like, for the last 2 years I've been at 70%, you know, because I couldn't do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I'm still psychologically, I think I'm still trying to get myself over that hump.
Yeah.
Because I'm still healing.
Yeah.
Cause like some days I feel like God, and then some days I feel like damn it. You know. So I think by the 30th I'll be ready to go.
Okay.
You know, I wish I had. It's because it's the only show that I wanted to do one show for Bob before I left, just because I love him to death. I think he's a great guy. And,
yeah.
And it was really hard for me to tell him I was leaving. You know, like I could have picked up the phone or texted him.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure I told him eye to eye.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I didn't want to be a pussy.
Yeah, no, I've been there. Yeah, right when we had conversations, because I think, and I've said it in a previous episode, but like January 2013, I kind of, one of those days where I woke up and the body was just like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You know, and it was another of a long line of what are you doing? I mean, I'm in the midst of my almost 3 runs at that point.
Yeah.
I think
you were champ here.
Yeah, I was champion. Like, I think at that point
Coastal
I just won like Coastal, Gulf Coast, and which became Hurricane, and TASW. So I should be riding high, and I'm like just beat up. Like I'm
because you're doing all the main events.
Yeah, I'm tired. You know, like. And I remember my buddy Kevin was here, who directs Reality Wrestling, and we were talking, and I just kind of was like, man, I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Well, I've been there.
And he goes, what are you thinking? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to say it to a whole lot of people. I said, but I think when my title runs in, I'm taking a break. And he's like, well, how long do you take a break for? And I was like, go, man, I'm at the point in my career where I'm aware of the bump card filling up.
Yeah.
I'm aware of it. Before, I wasn't aware of it. I didn't care. I would go out there, and it didn't matter. And I'd tell people, man, I'm not feeling that great today, and I'd go out there and just try to put on a show. And
Just destroy it.
Yeah, try to kill it, because my mentality, you win 1 belt, that's one thing, but you win 2 or 3. Now it's like, well, everywhere I went, there was a certain expectation, because I'm the guy. Like I tell people I'm the guy. Like
they don't realize if you're in that position, you know, until you're in that position, main event matches are different. Like even if the time-wise, it can be the same as whatever. But there's that pressure, man. Even if it's just indie wrestling or whatever, it's like if you give a shit, there's
no. And there was also this idea of like, well, I'm carrying your company's banner. Like Bob, man, I've been wanting that belt for over a decade. So
what's the oldest title in Texas?
And when my whole reasoning for returning to the ring was, after my back stuff, was to get that title. Yeah. Like I told Bob, look, man, I'm going to make the announcement because I have to get it in my head that I'm coming after it. I'm coming after like Q of all guys, like this fucking phenomenal athlete, man.
Most talented guy.
Yeah, God. Oh my God. He at the iPay-per-view, he did a 450 off the top of a cage.
They showed that on Facebook.
Yeah, someone had filmed, but that does not do it justice. I mean, we were all in the back, like.
Did you get the static cam for that one? Or?
Yeah, we had everything. We had 3 cameras, so I think everyone got. I mean, all eyes were.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
From where I saw it, like, and the way he was able to delay it and not tighten it up.
Yeah.
You know, like you normally would on the top rope, or you'd have to really do it quick.
Yeah.
The way he did it, and I'm just like, I was like.
I was afraid he was going to over-rotate, like, because he had such a, because he has that tendency on the top rope to, like, overextend, and, like, he's
Not
always,
this one.
No, it was awesome, man. But, yeah, so I always felt like I had to, and plus, I've gotten to the point where I walk in the locker rooms and they go, well, fuck, that's Steve DeMarco, and I'm like, dude, I've been doing it a while, it's cool, but... so yeah, I definitely felt the pressure. So yeah, we had that conversation, but I didn't have the heart to tell Bob, like, hey man, and I didn't want to tell Curtis, and I didn't want to tell Derek, because I didn't want them to go, well, maybe we need to pull it off and faster. Like, oh, well, we should do him a favor. Maybe this is cry for help. It's like, no, I could keep going. I'm just letting you know that once they're over, don't expect me to come in for the big rematch blow-off, or don't expect me to be at every show. Like,
part-timer.
Yeah, I can come in when you need me.
Yeah.
Like, but you don't want to put me on every flyer, because where do you fit me? And I'll still continue to have the mentality, like, I'll steal the show, and I don't want to, like it, with like Darkstar's case, like my feeling is like, man, the guy deserves it. He's put in the time. He's been one of the, like you, like me, when Bob really needs a guy, he's one of those guys like he can count on to deliver. And
he's solid and dependable.
Yeah, and he's really, so I'm like, if I'm on the card with you, they're going to want to see that, and as opposed to tease them, Bob can just make an announcement when it's time,
Yeah.
But yeah, I really wanted to break, and then Kevin's like, well, what would you want to do once you're done? I'm like, well, man, I love booking. I go, but that's a stress-ridden job that you can tell yourself.
7 years straight.
Yeah, you can tell yourself, man, no, I would like, a year and a half, okay, I need a break. You guys take over. So Kevin's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I like putting matches together. I like consulting. I like
agenting.
Yeah, I like being an agent. He was like, cool, all right. So I knew I had a exit strategy to a degree, but again, like sitting down with Bob, and he was like, well, who would be next in line? And I'm like, well, who do you have in mind? Do you have someone in mind? He's like, I think Darkstar. And I'm like, all right. I go, man, he goes, you let me know when you want to pull the trigger. And I go, all right. He's like, don't tell me. You just
do it.
You do it when you feel it's appropriate.
That's the cool thing about Bob.
Yeah. And he was like, okay. I go, and then he was like, one thing, let's just not tell him. I'm like, all right. I go, well, because nothing can, you can't substitute that. Like, it's hard. Another thing with him is like just being in the moment, as opposed to like being past it. Because I think even when I beat Q for it, all the weight was there.
Yeah.
Because I put the weight of, God, I got to perform with this guy who's like, 15, 20, 20 years younger than me. That's one. I go, secondly, he's a phenomenal athlete. Thirdly, I'm going to win this title that I've been wanting forever. So I wanted Darkstar to just enjoy it. Because I go, that's the last thing you're going to get to enjoy. Because once it's hoisted on you, it's not a privilege. You now have to, now you carry it. You carry it. There's not anyone else to carry it.
Well, the way you guys did it was funny too, because it just, the look on his face.
Yeah.
Was priceless.
Yeah.
And then when he got to the back, of course, everybody was standing there. And, and he was kind of bewildered.
Yeah, he didn't see it coming. I think we discussed elements after that spot, so it was kind of you were one of the only ones that knew.
Yep.
Terry found out the day of.
I'm surprised I knew before Terry. So.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, that was the thing. Like, well, the less people know, the more. Because I couldn't tell my friends. I couldn't tell Robbie. I couldn't tell Ryan. I didn't want them to spoil it, or like look at Darkstar a certain way. Like, damn you, man.
That should be me.
That should be me. Or Yule or any of those guys. And like I said, Bob's real gracious and kind of going, you decide.
Yeah.
But when I lost it, I think there was that feeling of, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I've left you guys in a good place. We've got our top heel. Jason's gonna be around. You got you got all these parts in
Little
place.
did we know that everything was going to kind of happen later on.
Yeah, which we will get into in a sec, because I've talked to everyone else about it, and of course I've talked to reality wrestling guys.
Yeah.
I've yet to talk to anyone, and they all kind of toed the line, and I'm kind of the same way, of course, which I guess maybe we'll get into it right now. So Darkstar's champ, but you have everyone Bob was aware, so everyone knew I was leaving.
Yeah.
I think, and with Curtis, I stuck around because there was one guy I wanted to face. It was kind of, I was like, okay, that's cool. That's really the only reason I'll stick around. You give me that guy, and then I'll probably say take some time. ROW was like, well, let me transition to the back and not focus on myself.
Yeah.
Like, if you have Steve DeMarco on the show and I'm in the back, it's I go, I'm a dick to deal with.
It's a gimmick thing.
Yeah, it's a complete and it's an ego thing because it's Steve DeMarco. I've been that guy forever, so it's going.
It's
no,
hard to
let's
turn
just
it off.
yeah, let's just take him out of the equation.
Yeah.
Like Kevin's like, well, do you want just take me out of the equation. Don't put me anywhere because I don't want to screw up.
Just let you be you and help.
Yeah. Let me use my brain.
You don't have to worry about your own stuff, though.
Yeah. Plus, I can rest. I'm good with resting. I'm at that point too. Like again, I have not a booking whore, like you said. I don't care about being on shows or being on flyers. Like I want
done that.
Yeah, I want to be on shows that have ultimately a payoff. Because there was like one instant, again, even in the midst of my runs where I'm going, well, what is the payoff? Like not financially, maybe the people in the crowd.
Where's this going?
But outside of that, what's the exposure? Like, where am I going to get the most bang for my buck? Because there were instances with both companies where, and through no fault of their own, again, you don't think video production.
No.
It's a lot of times you're going, God, I have a budget for a building, for upkeep, for my concessions, for my merch.
Well, it's so expensive to run.
Yeah, and then my talent and my talent pool. But now, video production, I don't even want to touch that because I don't. Who do you bring in?
Yeah.
Who can you trust? How much are they going to cost? A good production company
like Dojo.
Yeah. How much? I mean, honestly, you can do friend favors for a while, but eventually they're like, dude, I run a business, and then they've got mouths to feed. But I never wanted to be that guy. Like if people go, well, the show, and I become the irate, bitter. Like I never want to be bitter, so I'm like, look, well, I'll take a step away. Yeah, it's good enough to be a prick. You have to be a prick, but at the same time, I didn't want it to infect the rest of the locker room. Like locker room morale, that's all it takes is one loud enough voice, even if he's not being very loud. I can whisper my discontent, and it can go.
It takes one person that falls off the track that can fuck it up for everybody.
Yeah,
and it's really disheartening when you see that. And my thought is like, if you're not happy, go. It's not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, be here, go.
Yeah.
It's just, don't feel beholden to me. Don't feel beholden to. Like no one's forcing you to be here.
Yeah.
If you're not happy with whatever it is, then just go.
Yeah.
And some people get like that.
Yeah.
And it affects. What it does is people don't realize it's like one person can infect the whole locker room where everybody goes, hey, the locker room is discontent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that one person is discontent, and you feel uncomfortable around him because of how loudly he voices his opinion.
Yeah.
And
so before it became that, like when I'd start going to shows and it hit my brain, like, I take the AJ Rush thing for instance. I didn't really we had just gotten told we were exclusive, but even Kevin was like, well, you're kind of exempt because you're not on our show. Like, Book really can't say, well, I'll just take you off the show. You're
not on the show.
Yeah, you're in the back. So, you can do what you need to do. He goes, and I felt, well, let me lead by example, one. Because if I'm willing to do it, and I get really no reward out of it outside of helping out with the show, and even at that, it's not like, I make it known on videos, but it's not like I come out during the show and be like, hey, I helped put this together. Because it's definitely not just the one man. That's an entire army of people. But I was, kind of in the back, and I talked to Robbie, and I was just like, man, it's a shame. He's like, what's a shame? I go, man, it's a shame that I'm going to wrestle AJ Rush. We're going to have a good match. I go, this kid's awesome. He's a phenomenal kid. Really wanted to wrestle him. I think we can get a lot out of it. I said, but at the end of the day, the 250 people that see it are going to be the only ones that see it, or the only ones that are going to see a quality representation of it. I go, and it kind of bugs me. And he goes, I go, man, I need to leave before it becomes that gets louder. Because now I go, well, I'm voicing to Robbie, who's kind of in the same boat. He was the champ. He was like, I'm going to kind of do my run. But he was kind of in the same boat too. Like, yeah, but when we go to books, we're on national TV. It's kind of a different thing.
And it really is national TV in comparison.
Yeah. So it was kind of, and I've been there in the past where it was like you're given a choice and you could wrestle for this company or that company, and being on the opposite side of being the guy like, oh, I'm the choice that you guys, so I've been there, and I've had the heartache of being that guy, like seeing his roster decimated, like people just mass exodus. I've been part of a roster where there was a mass exodus, and you're going, crap, I gotta fucking steer the boat, I guess. Christ, I am not ready for. Well, Christ, I better get ready, But for y'all, like the exclusivity thing comes down, and for whatever reason, like I'm not a fan of that unless the company that is saying it has something to offer that no other company, regardless, can simply say, yes, I can compete with it.
Yeah.
Like when I ran IWE, I had guys who were leaving, were given a choice, and at the time, all the emotion and all that, but then I take a step back and I go, well, I couldn't offer you the same pay. Mm-hmm. I could probably offer you exposure, but really, I can't offer you pay. I go, at the end of the day, I get it. Like, you guys need more money, and I don't feel like I should tell you, well, stay with me. Yep. Go make your money. I'm cool with that. But
my thought is, and it's always been, because I was in a similar situation with Portland Wrestling 7 years ago, where a small company was opening, but they were running every week, mm-hmm. and the guy was actually working for Portland in his opening. He had talked to the promoter about 9 months to a year beforehand. He said, I want to open it up, use your guys, but you still run your angles, because we were only running once a month there, 5-minute matches, 6-minute matches. And where this other place, he was only going to use 10 to 12 guys a night every week, and we would get 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, 2 years in the business at this point, and I'm sitting there going, wait, so I get to wrestle 5 times a month, plus this other date I've got down the road.
Yeah.
But for all these 5 to 6 times, I get to work 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Where on the Port TV, they were having squash guys, 3, 4 minutes, 2 minutes sometimes.
Yeah.
It just going in and destroying people because they're building me up. And so all of a sudden when the guy decided to open it up, the promoter goes, well, I don't think we're going to do it. So they're going to have to make a choice. And so when I made the choice to go with the other group, he's like, well, you're on TV. And I'm like, I'm learning how to work over here.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you're on TV, but you're not paying my rent.
Yeah.
My feeling is like, if you're not paying my rent, you're not paying a substantial amount of my bills, you cannot tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And I conferred with Buddy Rose and Colonel DeBeers, who had trained me before that, and I asked them, both of them said, you need to do what's best for you, and you want to work, go work.
Yeah.
It's like...
Well, because, if you're like a couple years in, the experience is the name of the game.
I really learned how to work, though, because you work in front of the same crowd every week. And
so you're having to really kind of, at the one hand, you've got the same audience, so you kind of like TV, where you can kind of build every story, but at the same time, you always have to do something different.
The crowds were horrible, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But to me, it was a learning experience.
No, yeah.
I had 1 year, 52 matches, where I would have had 12 matches, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I would have gotten to learn... because I learned a lot in the short time I was with the TV show from the Grappler, from Dr. Luther.
Okay.
And they really took me under their wing and helped me out a lot, but I still learned how to wrestle.
Yeah. Well, because I think it would be hard for you to learn if they're going, we'll go out there, give us 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You're not really going to have to sell. Your job's just to put them down. Yeah. And whereas when you're wrestling like a weekly thing and it's longer, well, no, you're going to have to
working for hot dogs.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to put in some work. You're gonna have to actually sell, show.
And I was getting paid pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
Like I was making enough money to pay my electricity and part of my cable bill. So I mean, it was a good paid PO. So it was kind of like I had a lot of people tell me I was stupid for making a decision, but I just wanted to wrestle.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't about the TV at that point for me.
Yeah.
You know, but then again though, if they had the only difference between them and Book is that Book's got a training center. These guys didn't.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go into the training center and work out whenever I wanted to.
Yeah.
And make up for that.
Yeah.
It was just you show up for TV once a month. You go to this other company once a month, which he only did like 7 or 8 minute matches. So I didn't have the opportunity to go to a training center and work out and work out for hours upon hours.
Yeah.
And improve and then show off on TV. It was this and done.
Yeah.
So
it was like show to show, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they had a training facility, to be honest, it probably would have been a different answer.
Okay.
You know, if they had a place with the ring up and you had guys like the Grappler there and, you know, teaching you and learning from him, then perfect.
Yeah.
But they didn't, because Buddy and Colonel had already shut their school down at that point.
Okay.
So they were, you know, so I was already on my own at that point. I still had their tutelage from the verbal standpoint, but you still got to keep your wind up, and you still got to keep your ring wind up, and you can't do that in 5 minutes or 6 minutes, 6 minutes curtain to curtain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. TV time.
TV time.
It's not give me 15 minutes. That's
curtain to curtain.
That's bell to bell. Oh, okay. No, well, you got to count. Yeah.
Because you go curtain to curtain. Well, hell, you got 3 minutes intro. And then 2 minute outro.
Yeah.
So you're taking, in 15 minutes, you're actually only getting 9 to 10.
Yeah.
So, and like the last 2 minutes, you're looking over there waiting for the pencil to go up or the glasses to go up.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have earpieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So how was the vibe of the locker room when guys were told? Because I'm sure guys were told. Like because I was scheduled to do the Rumble initially, and it was kind of like you're given a choice of opponents.
Yeah.
Like I think I was going to wrestle either Ransom and just a kind of just a singles match, or Ransom and Cedric in a triple threat. And I think my mind at that point was like, well...
Because you refereed my match.
Yeah, because I ended up going, but why would I haven't wrestled on the show since.
Yeah.
Why would that be my first thing? Like, I get like trying to build momentum, and I thought, well, I'd probably get more out of having me there being the ref. Then I can that kind of ties in. We all have history.
Well, we main evented the year before.
Yeah. So it kind of all worked out. But when were you aware that guys were like Ryan and Robbie and a few others were gonna?
Bob probably told me pretty quickly after.
After he was told.
Yeah, because me and Bob, we keep in contact with text. We're friendly. We just BS, just about pretty much anything. If we see something funny, we'll shoot it to each other. I found out pretty quick, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Because really, when you take that kind of talent, man, you can't replace.
Yeah.
The vibe, be honest, everyone was great, but one person, and he wasn't a person who was a long timer at TSW, and he was still cool, but I think he didn't quite know how to handle the responsibility of this. But everybody else, like yourself, Ryan, Robbie, Aiden, everybody else was like whatever.
Yeah.
They were. The one guy was kind of like, I've made it, I'm a star now, I don't do indies no more. And I heard that, and I'm just like,
oh wow.
I was just like, that, for whatever reason, that bothered me, hearing that, because I don't like it when people said that. But everybody else was fine.
Yeah.
Everybody else was just like, like me and you, we sat right next to each other the whole night, we conversed. Because for whatever reason, I think, even though you're friends with a lot of the book guys, you always put yourself aside. You like to
I'm not a cliquey.
No.
I've been part of cliques.
Yeah.
But usually it's, I try to hang out with guys who are really talented, but again, we're very opinionated. And then, but...
I think you were the kind of the loners, and we just kind of gravitated towards
each other. Yeah. And I'm, with books guys, it's not, again, like, their decision was predicated on the idea of like, well, I get TV time. Mine was like predicated on the idea of, well, if I do it, then all the young guys who would potentially be like, well, I don't know if I want to do that. You know, what's the point? And I've had, you know, certain talent that's younger, like, well, what do you think? And I go, well, here's the only problem I have with indie wrestling overall. And it has been like this for me outside of my time with Booker. Even early on when I was actually active. The idea of you coming in the back, asking how the match is, and getting like, oh, it was great.
When they're burying you, when you're already out there.
Yeah, when you're out there like, that piece of shit shouldn't even be
I got a story for that.
Yeah. So I go, every time I would go, after a match, well, how was the match? Oh, it was great. Well, I kind of need more than that.
That's the bullshit.
I don't like, and I'm guilty of it if I don't think a guy wants to hear the truth.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some guys come to the back and they think they have just pulled off, you know, the main event of WrestleMania, and I'm like, and I saw all kinds of stuff. And it's not just them. I can watch myself on film and go, Christ almighty, what was I thinking? Yeah.
If I watch my shit from the last 2 years, I go crazy because I know I'm better than what I've been doing. Mm-hmm. You know, because, you know, I've been fucking hobbling along.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to hold on.
Yeah, or if I watch shows that I've produced.
Yeah.
And I go, and I can watch them and nostalgia will kick in, but I have to stop that. Then I go, God, why did we cut a 25-minute promo at the beginning? What do we turn
Promos do, you know what, the more time goes on, promos do not work for live crowds.
No, yeah.
If it's longer than a couple minutes, it does not work for live crowds.
No, because they're conditioned, and I try to approach it too with guys like television. You know, the biggest thing too is, and I noticed it, was that the guys that were from books that were doing television would come to other shows and go, well, it's a day off to some degree. And I go, well, you still need to treat it like a TV show. You need to be your part, do all your stuff. If there is a camera, placate to it. Treat it as a learning opportunity. Because I look at it now from a bump card standpoint. Like, every bump counts. Like, every time I go out there and put my body on the line, that could be the last. Because you don't see it coming. It's not like a video game where there's some meter that I can see where it goes, okay, you're done. Yeah. You're not going to know. Your body's just going to go, no, you're done. No, please don't. Don't even try to.
Well, the difference between TV and live, though, is that people go, well, we're trained to work TV style. But when you work at just a live crowd with no TV. Yeah. You have to change your psychology a little bit and slow it down so they can digest what's going on. Yeah. Because for TV, you're getting your spots in, and then like a lot of indie shows that have TV, there's that fourth side, but there's no fans half the time on the fourth side. You got the three sides, and so you got to start on the empty side. You got to play to where there's nobody, and I used to always, because I was told just play to the camera. Well, I would start at the camera and then I would turn around and work the other three sides because, you know, and I never got any flack over it or nothing like that, but I would start there and then I would work my way and I would find the ground floor cam. Yeah. You know, because they were like, use the floor cam. Yeah. And I always knew the floor cam was to the left. And so I would start and then pivot my way all the way around to the floor cam. Yeah. But really it was more so, I did it more so just to get the crowd into it. You know, you gotta get them to bite, man. Yeah. Because if they're not biting on you, then you're just playing for yourself. You might as well just put a bunch of mirrors around the ring and wrestle for yourself. Yeah. You know? So that's actually, I used that for someone who used to critique my promotion who said that we were all a bunch of egomaniacs and said that. So I'm just throwing that out there. It was a great line though. Yeah. You know, so it's interesting how the difference between TV and non-TV is. Yeah. And I wrestled someone about a year and a half, 2 years ago that was a TV guy. Yeah. He wanted to rush through a couple of spots in the ring. And we got to the back, he was like, you were a little slow on this. And I go, there's no cameras here. Yeah. You know, because he smacked me and he wanted me to go right back and smack him. And so when he smacked me, I turned around, you know, and I'm like ooh, and I wanted as much as the crowd to see how annoyed I was at this.
Yeah.
And so when you did it, and I felt a little buzz, and then when I whacked them back, they popped. But if he would have went boom, and I would have went boom, it would have suffocated.
Yeah, you wouldn't have gotten the response because you wouldn't have gotten the crowd to react to how you were reacting.
They would have been able to digest it.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just tit-tit-tit. You know, if you do tit-tit-tit, you know, there's no reaction to it. You know, you got to, you know, slow it down, and you can pick it up in spots, but you got to bring it back and let them get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And TV's totally different.
So how are you, like, when you run the back? Are you one of those that when you watch the matches, are you giving them critiques as soon as they come to the back, or is it a situation of...
I generally try to watch it. If I catch the whole thing, I'll critique, or if I see something, I'll say something. But then I prefer to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I like to, I'll get the copy or whatever, and I'll watch it a few days later.
Yeah.
And if I see something that aggravates me, I'll talk to them, either call them, message them, or talk to them next time I see them.
Okay.
And straighten that out. It's sometimes it's a quick reaction, sometimes it's a slow reaction.
Yeah.
And like at this point, like if it's my show, I don't care if they want the criticism or not.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, you're trying to produce the product. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if it's Bob's show, I just kind of sit back, and if someone asks.
Yeah.
And we were talking. You said how everybody does the pat on
Yeah,
the back
it's
there was a match at the Armadillo that it was an abortion.
Okay.
It was an abortion. Like I wanted to grab a freaking wire hanger and throw it into the ring. You know.
You're like, there are protesters picketing this show because of this abortion going on inside the ring.
And so the guy comes back and he's like, "Oh my God, that was great, blah 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 blah." And everybody's like, "Oh, good job." You know, they pat him on the back. But they were burying him on the TV in the back. They were like, oh, they weren't burying him. It was their reaction to it. Because they weren't going, oh, this guy sucks or nothing. It was kind of silent, and they were watching it, and you just see the head shaking.
Yeah.
The head shaking.
Yeah.
And they walk off.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get people to walk away from the monitor, and with their head shaking, they're annoyed. And it was more than one person. There was about 3 or 4 guys that just said, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So he comes back, and everybody's patting him on the shoulder, and he goes, what did you think? And I go, you want me to tell you the truth or blow smoke up your ass? He goes, well, you tell me the truth. So I told him the truth, and I think he would have rather me blow smoke up his ass.
Yeah.
Because I just...
But he was probably like chest swelled, head up high. He was like, yeah, tell me how great I am. And you're like, oh, well, not your best effort.
Yeah. And then, and he thought it was so great, but then his opponent's sitting over there with his head hanging down like this. So,
nice.
And he
knew.
Yeah, and he's like, well, it got over with the crowd. And I go, no, it got over with one person that you already told about before the show.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, the crowd was eating it up. Yes, the one person. The one person who really likes your stuff.
And so, I don't know if I was being too harsh. I thought I was being spot on.
Yeah.
And so, you know, in Portland, for some reason, I've developed a reputation outside of my company as a bully.
Really?
Because I tell people how they are and what they need to do to improve themselves.
Yeah.
And so every now and again, you'll see one of my guys go, bully, just post on my Facebook or something just to fuck with me. Because they're not, you know, for so many years, everybody just glad hands. Even the veterans. Oh, yeah. And so we're trying to, you know, motivate ourselves and push ourselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, like at our school, we'll go in there, we'll push ourselves. And if something's wrong, we will critique, but we won't baby them about it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just training them the way I was trained.
Yeah.
You know, and it seems like the more years go on, if you're not trained hard, then if you train hard or you train critical, then you're a bully.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they want you to just guide them in gently.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, it's a kinder, gentler. I was talking to Nico about that, which I'll get into in a sec. But, well, actually, no, we were talking about how training has changed to some degree. Like, you can't seem to ruffle anyone's feathers, and if you do say anything that's less than positive, you are ruffling their feathers.
I don't know how Books is.
Books, well, I'll give you like a prime example of the differences. Like HPW, I was towards the end of my run. Everyone's getting the glad hand stuff, and this guy, Nate Laws, good friend, an opponent, young kid wanting to learn.
Good.
which is great. And you can tell in his eyes that
Can't knock that.
he wants to know, and he doesn't want anyone to tell him he's great. He wants to be told specifically what was wrong.
He's called a good green man.
Yeah.
To grow.
Yeah, he's willing to grow, and he can tell. You know, we've had one match and it wasn't great. And he had his family there, and it still wasn't great. And I told him after the match, like, you have people there. Like, even though you're not going over.
Yeah.
But he'd go, at the end of the day, I'm the easiest guy to work because I don't need to do but one move. I can literally, if I'm winning, do one move. That's all I need. The rest of it is, that's all you. I give you 99%. Yeah, I get my entrance, which isn't a whole lot. It's a lot of, yay.
It's a lot.
Yes,
Please,
yes.
come on, it's not. He's downplaying.
Well, so anyway, and his opponent was this guy, I guess out of Louisiana, thought, you know, kind of one of those guys, chest swell, head up high, thought the match was this, that, and the other. And you can tell they're the kind of guys because they'll give you an excuse. As soon as you point something out, there's some reason why that it's not totally their bad. Anyway.
Well, the ropes were wet.
Yeah, or like, well, I thought the crowd was into it. Oh, I don't know.
That one person?
Yeah, maybe that spatter people that was talking about what was on their cell phone while you were wrestling. I don't know. They weren't paying attention.
There's a difference between a pop
Yeah.
and
the smattering of like. No. Anyway, so you can tell, like, he came into it thinking, oh, I'm going to sing their praises. So we're sitting in the locker room, and I'm just going, I just read him right at act. I'm like, guys, your punches look like they were, like you weren't really trying to hit each other. Y'all both look blown up, which is not the name of the game. Even if you are blown up, you need to both figure that out. And
I know how to cover that shit.
Yeah, you've got to cover it up. I go, if you look tired after 6 minutes, if you look tired after 6 minutes and it doesn't look like you've had a war, I go, yeah, if you're UFC and it's that style of stiffness, well, yeah, after 4 or 5 minutes, you can look winded because people go, crap, that was the most.
That's a brawl.
Yeah. I mean, and you can get blown up after that, but so
Nate holds.
Yeah, Nate really thank you, like messaged me a couple days later, like, man, I really took dog what you said because I was real stern. Like, I'm like, if you really want to know, come get my opinion. If you don't want to know, just accept it was what you thought it was.
Yeah.
And I always tell guys, look, if there's a hard camera, if there's any kind of video footage that you can get, which hopefully bare minimum someone's recording the match, watch it versus what's on television only from did you look as crisp? I go, you can't, they're pretty angles, they've got 12, 15 cameras, so they catch every angle humanly possible. But was it there? And if you truly assess your talent level, was it to that part? Because everyone wants to be on the big show, but the reality is not everyone can be. On the flip side with books, you got Booker, who is the coach of coaches. He's never really wrong. There's some stuff where
you can't question his
credibility. You can't, because he's done it. He's been there.
It's not like he's gotten over in just one place. He's gotten over in 3 major places.
And he's done TV, and he kind of knows it. He knows it. So it's the immediate, you look to him, but then you don't just have him. There's every guy that, you got Ryan, you got all these guys, like Gustavo was at last night's show, which is just
he's someone I would have loved.
Just to watch.
Yeah.
He was just there. You've got the production guys that have been doing it long enough. So there's a lot of feedback you can get. And you're getting it not just as you walk through the curtain, then you can walk past that, and you get that critique, and then you can walk, and then you'll have, like me and a few others, who will come and go, what'd you think? Where'd you feel? Did you feel Now, last night's show was a great show, everybody, but there were even instances there where you could go, well, we could have got always room to improve.
And that's good, though.
Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah. There's definitely no.
You're not popping the corks.
There's no glad handing. Yeah. There is really
what's next?
Yeah. And there's always, and the lucky thing for them is because now they have a TriCaster. So in the back we had cut to cut of it, so you saw all the angles. Whereas prior to that, we just had the hard cam, which really still got it. But again, having that TriCaster, it's a whole nother. Because if you just watch hard cam, if guys go to the outside, you're going to miss stuff. And if they're not really focused, and usually with a hard cam, it's static, so it's never.
And that's what we got as a static.
Yeah, and with our hard cam, even if they move, it's still, you're going to miss some stuff. So at times when there was critique time, like immediately after, it's like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Well, if you'd seen it from this angle, so that really helped. And it really, they did, I mean, the trick with TV sometimes too is, when you're not in the shot or not supposed to be in the shot, what are you doing so that you don't take away from the ones that are in the shot?
Yeah.
You know, and then there is that level of making sure it follows a certain rhythm so that guys don't, because that, you know, if you're not really schooled in it, or you're not being schooled in it, or you're not aware of it, you can like get lost in not being seen because you're seeing too much and you're kind of photo bombing stuff at the improv, you know, at the improv time, like, oh, and again, you know, and from at the same time, it gives guys that mentality of like, especially with multi-man matches where it's like, no, it's got to follow rhythm. You can't take away from what's going on the outside. Like if you're a manager, you can't be too active unless it's your time to, you know.
You don't want to take away the heat.
Yeah.
You know, your time. I always, because we got a couple of managers and a couple of them are green, and we always tell them, you know, your time to work is when they get into a hole, you know, and your guy, or when there's a double down, you know, and we got one manager who's been studying the hell out of Jim Cornette.
Nice.
Yeah, and I challenged him about a year ago or 2 years ago as a heel, and I go, you notice Cornette had a knack of getting the crowd to clap.
Yeah.
For the babyface.
Yeah.
Because they have to be the double down or something.
Yeah.
And he would start clapping for his guy, and then the babyface, the fans
by
would start,
trick, you're tricking the fans to go, wait, no.
And then Cornette is, you know, halfway through, be like, you know, and he'd start
stop it, and then they're,
And so he tried it a couple of times, and he would stop, like halfway through, because he felt uncomfortable because they didn't bite. And I go, hold it, man. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
And I go, trust me. Just keep doing it. And so he did it. Next time he did it. And he got to the uncomfortable stage. I could see it in his face. It's written all over it. But then all of a sudden, one fan got it. And then it caught on to the whole crowd. And you always try to, like, you know, you always try to tell people, the more uncomfortable you feel, the better it is.
Yeah.
You know, when I was trying to generate heel heat, I used to go in the corner and I'd pull my arms back like this, you know. And I didn't hear nothing, and I'd panic.
Yeah.
And so I would stop. And then as I got, you know, I'm like, well, wait a minute. You know, so the next time I did it, you know, same thing. And so finally I held back, and I held it, because I was told to be patient about it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden one person got it.
Yeah.
The next person got it. The next person got it. And then I would react and just kind of look all cocky towards them. And then, you know, most of the crowd would go with it and start booing out of the building. And then that's where you get your...
Yeah. A lot of guys don't think to take time. Like they always believe if they're going slow, they're going too slow, and it's like, man, if you're going too slow, you're going the right speed. And it took me there was instances in that I would hang out with guys and run with a crew of guys who were really athletic. So it was like, well, I need to keep up with that. Yeah, and then I'm like, but I can't remember all that stuff. So let me tweak it. And then at the same time, I'm watching the product going, well, the guys on top, they don't, they go a certain speed, but what they do, everything matters. It's not just doing it for the sake of doing it. And that kind of, I was like, well, what guys do I like? Well, I like Hogan, but he doesn't do a lot. He does so much that we don't think about, you know? Like, all the psychology, the looks, the Hulka. He can do it anywhere, anytime. Rock, Austin, all those guys, and then that really like flipped the switch. Now you worked with Buddy Young. Wait, who were your trainers?
Playboy Buddy Rose.
Buddy Rose.
And look, now a lot of people think of Buddy Rose as the big fat guy blow-away diet.
Yeah.
Go on, message me, Jason Sullivan on Facebook afterwards. Let me know what you think. Find Buddy Rose from 1979 to 1983, and I dare you, and this goes with a lot of national writers, there was not very many guys that were better than him at that point. He was, in my opinion, he was top 5 guys in the world.
Yeah.
And you'll see it if you look from 1979 to 1983. Look up Portland Wrestling. Look up Buddy Rose from those years, and you won't. And this is not me speaking because I know him, was trained by him. This is me speaking straight up as watching someone go. Him and Jay Youngblood, him and Roddy Piper, him and Chris Adams.
Oh, wow.
Oh, dude, the matches were off the charts. Him and Rip the Crip Lawler. Him and Kurt Hennig against the Dynamite Kid and the Assassin. If people who weren't trained on Portland, I used to, when I was a kid, and as I grew up, the memories, they were incredible. And you know how sometimes the memories are incredible and you throw in the tape?
Yeah.
And it doesn't quite live up.
Yeah, like the good movie you liked as a kid, and then it's like, oh man, why did I?
Well, this was the opposite. They surpassed my expectations.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm a very critical person when I'm watching wrestling. And they surpassed my expectations. The promos were incredible. The delivery was incredible. What they did was incredible. Like, it really blew me away. And so it opened my eyes. And at that point, I started tape collecting around 2001.
Okay.
And I started ordering all these little Portland tapes. And then I got a hold of Buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was here in Texas training with Bob and Scott Zenzen.
Okay.
And Hernandez.
Scott Zenzen.
Yeah. He's the guy that got me in with Bob.
Nice.
And then Hernandez came in and helped out for a couple months. He got me aggressive. He taught me spots. Didn't teach me psychology.
Yeah.
But he taught me cool spots.
Yeah.
And so I was this big kid, 360 pounds. I could do all these spots and shit. And then I got a hold of Buddy and Colonel. And they taught me the most important thing of all, psychology.
Nice, yeah.
And I was like, I always considered their school like like the PhD. You know, that's the postgraduate.
Yeah.
You know, that's the place to go to where because you don't really go, because they were pretty light on you. You know, I got my ass kicked at TSW.
Yeah, you toughened up there.
Yeah. But then I went to Buddy and Ed's, and they taught me what to do and how to do it,
or where to put stuff, and why you're doing it, the why, the how.
Yeah. And because between the two of them, there's 70 years of experience. They've headlined all over the world. Buddy just had headlined Madison Square Garden with Bob Backlund.
Yeah.
Because he was one of those rotational heels.
Yeah.
In 82, 83, he rotated. He came in, he started off with against Sal Palomo, went over. And then he worked his way up to Backlund. Then he went down to Pedro, and then he went down to Snuka.
Yeah.
And then he was, his 9-month run was done. And then he went to the AWA and put on 50 pounds. And I thought it was really cool because, though, training under him, I realized, and I would tell him this, and he would always deny it. But I had heard them all say, guys like Kurt Hennig, he put over Buddy Rose, is the guy that really taught him how to work. Shawn Michaels, all these guys, and so I'm like, well, fuck, this is a big deal,
Yeah.
And so get to learn. I went into his training center the first day, and I'm one of those guys when I'm training down in Texas. And of course, whenever you hear someone say I train somewhere else, there's the skepticism.
Yeah. Well,
like, fuck you.
Who is this? Who is this person?
Yeah.
I don't know this guy.
Yeah.
Like, what the? Yeah.
And so I sat there, and then I did some of the drills and shit. They were like, all right. And then I got in there, and they had me do a match with their head guy at that point. And we locked up, and I started calling spots, and he looked at me like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And when they called it, and we did it, and we pulled him off. And all of a sudden, he started salivating because he's like, I got another guy to work with.
Nice.
And then there's a couple other cats, and we all kind of, we're still all together even today.
Nice.
And we've pulled in some other cats. I've got 4 guys from the school that are in the promotion.
Nice.
And when it comes to psychology, those are the best guys.
Yeah.
When it comes to tag team wrestling, we used to have 2 days a week. We would train Saturdays and Sundays. And on Sundays, it was for the guys that paid for the lights. It was
yeah.
So we were sorry guys. We were there.
No, you provided a tremendous service to us guys. You're very well needed. We all need guys who can pay for the lights.
Yes.
The lights, if they're not on, we can't really turn. Yeah.
And so we were there. There was 5 or 6 of us that were there to take the bumps for him.
Okay.
Because Buddy and Ed were but Ed would get in there and he would walk through it.
Yeah.
And he would go through it. And then about an hour and a half into it, he would get pissed off at what he was seeing and go outside and drink beer.
why aren't these guys getting it?
Yes, because he would teach them week after week, and so they were the light guys. Because we would tell
That's
them.
probably where I'm at now. Like, I don't want to deal with you guys.
Yes.
Someone else deal with them. You let me know when they're ready for me.
And so he had a word. He had a word, and he'd go.
His safety word.
No. It was just it was what went wrong, and he goes, when they stepped in the ring, kid. and so, but he wouldn't say it to the kids, you know, because he was they're the green, the money.
Yeah.
And so
you don't want to kill their spirit.
Yeah, and so at this point, I'm turning into him. He's outside having a couple of whatever natty lights or something.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there at the ring this time, and we're telling the guys over and over and over again, and we're giving them a few spots. They keep botching. I'm like sitting there, and Ed walks in and goes, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." And he goes, "Well, where did it go wrong?" And I go, "When they stepped in the ring, Ed." And he's like, "Kayfabe!
Nice.
So we had Saturday nights though. Saturday was for the more experienced cats.
Okay. Kind of like show night.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we weren't booked, because a lot of our shows were on Sundays for whatever reason. I like Saturday night matches myself.
I was I was gonna ask you like it's Sunday nights that's usually like the time to unwind, be at home.
It works for us.
But I mean it'd be the equivalent of going to a movie or something like that. So yeah.
Well, you do Sundays, you gotta start early. We start at 4.
Okay, yeah.
But we are going to start doing Saturdays once a month also.
Okay.
Because we didn't want a Saturday show back in April, and it was crazy.
Because they're probably like, Saturday.
So we're going to do 1 and 1, because we also have a lot of people that just can't make the Saturday shows because they work in clubs.
Yeah. Okay.
But we had the Saturday night practice, and it was pretty much really Ed and Buddy at that point were like, "Look, we've taught you everything that we can teach you. Now, this is just matches. You guys go in, warm up, and do your matches, and we will critique you."
Nice.
And so, and sometimes we would have like Moondog Moretti, who was this old school vet. He would come in on from time to time. Buddy Wayne, who's another vet from the West Coast, not the Memphis version, who, in my opinion, in the '90s was one of the best wrestlers in the Northwest.
Yeah.
They would come in from time to time. And so we would start off out at 5, 6, 7 of us, and we would start off with a tag match. And we would go for 25, 30 minutes. Once that was done, we'd break off into singles matches. And we would just go as long as we want. We'd be there for 4 or 5 hours, 3, 4, 5 hours practicing. And then the third match, we'd break it into it. And then if Ed saw anything, he would stop. And like in a tag match, like he really taught us the psychology of tag team wrestling. Like it's funny to say, but the guys in the school knew more about tag team wrestling than the TVs.
Nice.
Like you know, and we were the local TVs.
Yeah.
And I'd be watching some matches on the local TV, and I'm like, oh shit, that's not tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, the guys aren't, you know, they're not working the ref properly, or they use the referee too much. You know, and it's like, because if you put heat on the referee more than twice, you've just given him the match.
Yeah.
You know, now the heat's put onto him.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, you can't do more than one blind tag.
Yeah.
If you do more than one blind tag, you're putting heat on the referee.
Yeah.
So it was really cool though, and then I moved in next door to Buddy Rose, and having him next door was comical and learning.
Yeah.
You know, because like here's a guy, he's got this big old Lincoln Town Car, bleach blonde hair still, even in his 50s. He's got a goddamn satellite dish on top of his car. It looks like oversized George Foreman grill. And so you're driving down the road 95 miles an hour, zooming in and out of traffic, watching General Hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that was a show. Don't ask.
Hey man, some guys got their favorite show.
Yeah. But it was kind of cool because you know wherever we'd go, he was recognized.
Yeah.
Like he was a huge celebrity in Portland, and wherever we would go, people would come up to him and go, "Hey, aren't you?" and "Hey, aren't you?" And he'd go, "Yeah, this is my son." You know, because I'm a big fat guy. So.
Yeah. They're like, "Oh, we see it."
Yeah, seriously.
Nice.
And I would rib some of the guys on the shows that would come in from out of town, and someone would go, "Yeah, that's Buddy Rose's son." Really?
Oh wow.
And the guy would go, "Well, what's Buddy's real name?" Paul Pershman.
Yeah.
So it was a good upbringing. You know, you had some solid teaching, good stories, and some funny moments that I can't really talk about. Just for
Yeah. The statute of limitations is not done yet. It's not reached its limit.
Yeah, I just don't want them to haunt me.
So, like Portland versus Texas, Are there any major differences style-wise?
Well, Texas, a lot of the guys are bigger. We got a lot of guys in Portland. We got some big guys, but Texas they seem a little bit more refined, wrestling-wise.
Okay.
Portland is we've got some really good guys, but we're still kind of in the dark ages, and some of the guys in Portland you kind of need to step up a little bit, like I'm on the talk, but like hit the gym a little bit more.
Yeah.
We got a lot of big guys up there. Here it seems like the guys are, and maybe it's because there's more opportunity here, but it seems like the guys are more gym ready, they're more TV ready. But you see, because you go down to California, there's a difference also because California it's more spotty. You go to Canada now. There's the only group that I would ever compare ROH or reality wrestling to is in ECCW.
Okay.
It's a wash.
Really? Okay.
And that's not. I go up there and those guys are in great condition. There's a large crew up there. They're very solid in their fundamentals. There's a lot of solidarity and a lot of push.
Yeah.
And so, and Portland has really improved a lot because if you think about, for 10 years, you couldn't run indie shows in Oregon.
Really?
WWE wasn't running in Oregon because of the commission. They had outlawed it.
Wow.
Yeah, the rules were so strict that you couldn't run events. They actually had a rule book, from like 1992 until about 2002, where you couldn't pull. They actually had laws. You could pull on whiskers. It was like shoot. Okay. It was just shoot. The commission was just so hard. It's run and it's still, this commission is still, it's much more deregulated. Because they don't, you still have to do the tests, like the HIV screening and all that stuff, which I'm all for. Yeah. I think that should be mandatory. Especially, when you get guys that want to get color.
Yeah, true.
I mean, even if you get color with HIV, it's going to dry up by the time you're there, but I'm talking like Hep C.
Yeah, no, I hear you,
Yeah. Because that Hep C is very contagious even in airborne.
Okay.
And you don't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
So for 10 years there was nothing, and like there was one promotion would pop up, but the cost of running was so high because of all the licensing fees and all the regulatory fees and everything else that it was just impossible to make any money.
Yeah.
And so when I got there, they had just kind of deregulated it a little bit. You still got to do your blood tests and you got to pay your 6% of the gate to the commission. Okay. And you got to pay your annual fee. You got to pay your annual fee, and you got to get a license and bonded. And so once you get the initial licensing, you're good. Yeah. And then you can renew it every year. Okay. But you still got to pay your annual fee. You got to pay your county fee. You got to pay you pay $1,000 or $500. I can't remember what it was, and you get the whole state, or $100 per county. Okay. So you got to pay some money to actually work there. So in this time though, the business fell off, and when it finally came out of the dark ages, 10 years ago, people are starting to come up. But the thing is like, and here in Texas, you got 20, all these years continued. Yeah. Where now we had to stop and then we had to start all over 10 years ago, and so it's lots of times people would just go through. Yeah.
Hey guys.
Howdy. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Just filming.
Sorry. Continue.
We will.
Wow. So the Texas is definitely not as stringent as.
No, man. You can just put a ring out anywhere. Yeah. And run.
Which is not necessarily the best case, but
no, it's not. Yeah. I think that you should be able to pass a credit check. Yeah. And a background check to run.
You know how many companies would be
good.
Yeah. No. I'm all for regulating it. Yeah. A little regulation.
A little regulation, not over the top. Because Washington is rough because they want you to have an ambulance on site, which is going to cost you about $1,000 to show. God. So there goes your budget. Yeah. There goes your budget. And so as we're getting there. We're Oregon has come back a long ways, a long ways from the dark ages. and I take notes because I'm not shy, you know. I take notes. I'm trying to, you know, and we got a really good crew. Our guys, the guys that work for the company I'm at, there's another company that does really well too there. I take notes and I'm trying to, you know, like I follow what ECCW does up in Canada, and I'm taking their notes, and because our guys got a lot of heart, you know, so they're all trying to build themselves up. I'm taking notes with what you guys are doing here. What Bob does promotional wise, and we've made leaps and bounds in the last few years, and we've still got a long ways to go though. You know, like we're not even close to where I want us to be. So, but the guys, you know, the good thing about it is our guys, you know, they all like to train now. They all like to hit, you know, if they're not in the gym, at least they're in the ring. You know, but I want them to look a certain part, and if you're not going to look like muscles, then you got to have a great gimmick, and you got to be able to work. You know. Because I'm not following Vince McMahon's decree. You know, I really think that independent wrestling should be different than what they see in the Fed. And the only reason why I think that is because a lot of the indie fans, they don't care for that. They want the old school style, some of the new school style. And so we just go out there and we just develop our own thing. You know, we're not following Vince McMahon. We're not following Ring of Honor. We're not following New Japan. We're just, you use your style and you get it over. You know, and then we'll book accordingly to what you bring to the table. So
Now, kind of a two-parter. One, like, what I notice is just kind of overall, like, the lack of veteran leadership.
big time.
And then secondly, that's my dog.
What's up, dog?
He'll just do whatever. And people won't even see him. That's the fun part. They're like, what are y'all talking about, this dog? And then secondly, it being, so there's not a whole lot of veteran leadership out there as much as there used to be. I mean, you talked, you know, earlier about just kind of the people you'd have backstage, you know, just kind of a whole slew of veterans, like when you were first, you know, that would just give you these,
when I first broke in.
when you first broke in, and now it's not the same. What are your thoughts on that as far as the lack of veteran leadership?
I think that there should be veterans back there, but it's kind of a catch-22.
Well, you don't want some bitter veteran who like hates the business or probably never made it, and they're trying to tell you how to do it, and you're like, but you know, what did you know, what shows that you know?
You get the old guy that wants to come around and you know, or I shouldn't say old guy, that's a disrespectful. The veteran that wants to come around, that, like you just said, may not have made it, and he might be a little bitter, or he might be a little condescending. And there's your cancer. There's your cancer. And then you get the guy that has been around, but his ideas aren't as sharp as they used to be. You know, because he's been out in the business for a while. Well, then you get the veteran that has done something, but he wants $500 a shot because he looks at you as money marks. You know, because he's like, oh, these kids are, you know, they like me, so they're going to pay me. No, I'm not going to pay you. You know, well, I will pay you, but I'm not going to pay you. You know, I'm not going to give you my rent money. You know, and so it was wound up that we've really had a dire, you know, lack of veterans around. One, because they're not around, especially in the Portland area. I don't know how many you guys have down here that come around. But you guys got Book. It's a cold.
Like with Stevie us, Ray. There's Book, there's Stevie Ray. I mean, if we do have names that come in, I mean, they have knowledge, you know, that, like we had Devon at the this past show, and a few other guys.
Well, like when you guys are also at the point now where you're drawing big enough houses to where if you bring in a name, it's not detrimental to your budget.
No, and really, Book's kind of smart about. I think when he first was running, he thought, well, I need the names to really draw the crowds, and now it's like, no, it's really about my talent and how he positions the star, the names, quote unquote, is he positions them either early in the card, or they're just special guests that just kind of, or they're there like Diamond Dallas Page is there just to really kind of
do the bang in the diamond.
Or not even that. He was just there to be in Q's corner last night. He didn't even, and he physically didn't do anything. We were like all kind of anticipating something, but again, it's a steel cage match.
That's
like
gravy.
And he came in, he was helping Q out like prepare for the match and all that. And getting to talk to him was great because I do the yoga and stuff, and so we got to share a moment. But and then the next thing's like we touched a little bit on it, like as far as training goes. I mean, when we broke in. I mean, when I broke in, it was kind of you had to want it.
Yeah.
You know, and it was kind of, I got the pressure of, well, if you don't complete your pay, if you don't pay us off, and you don't complete the training, which means you go through graduation, and our graduation was like a gauntlet, you know, you went through
Everybody.
like 12 guys, or the entire locker room, or, you know, whoever was there, and then you just go a few minutes and in and out, in and out. Some guys would be nice to you, some guys wouldn't, you know, but, I mean, it was all paying your dues kind of deal. Kind of a real hard-nosed, old-school approach.
I like that.
Yeah, where it was like, shut up, keep your eyes open, your ears open, keep your mouth shut, kind of deal. And it was you weren't pampered, you weren't babied, you weren't. I mean, if you had an injury, you know, there was a difference. Or you hurt or you're injured. If you're injured, just sit down.
If you're not hurt, tough it out.
Yeah, let's get to it. And now, like we mentioned earlier, the whole you can't really even say. Crossword. You can't really say anything.
Well, I still do.
A lot. Well, and the thing is, like, I'll ask you. I've gone to books a few times.
Yeah.
Really, like now, it's like, man, I'm just kind of on vacation. So when I show up,
you might as well just show up in a lounge chair.
I wish I could, like, just put
a flowery drink.
Yeah, like, amuse me. But I noticed, like, everyone kind of walking, like, the trainers kind of not being as stern, like, and you know, Nico's the head trainer, and he's new to the position, but he's even said, we talked about it the other day, because there was one student, he just happened to kind of give an attitude. Mm-hmm. That stuff wouldn't fly. You know, like my day, you'd either get slapped, or some guy you knew, the guy I'm pretty intimidated. I know that I can go up to most guys and just kind of push my way around.
There's a way to do it.
Yeah, there's a way. I'm real diplomatic, but I've even told them, like,
you can be diplomatic first.
Yeah. I'm like, guys, y'all, you just got to kind of change your mentality. Like, this is a grown man's business. I find that because there's so much youth sometimes that it is kind of you think you're entitled, man. This is you're paying to learn. And
I use my favorite line, and a lot of people say this guy was a douchebag, and he might have been. It was Sean Hernandez.
I
got along great with Sean personally.
Me and Sean were awesome.
I know a lot of people were at one point with him.
Well, no, like we could still. I probably could see that guy tomorrow, and it'd be like, man, how's the family, so on and so forth. We carry on. Like, I don't business-wise. I've been one of his boys where we were leveraged, you know, like
the Greyhound Park.
Where it was like, well, I'll just take the rest of it. I'll take my guys, and us not really even being us going. He's kind of right. Like Sean's the guy you need if there's a bar fight. That's the guy. Like I always felt like no one's gonna mess with me because he's my buddy. At the same time, you know, he's opinionated like anybody. He's got his belief. But,
very opinionated.
Yeah. But we always got along. Like he was a guy who could go out there, throw his body on the line, but he'd be like, Steve doesn't need to do that. He's an entertainer. But when he does it, he will commit to whatever. Yeah, so he goes, and he'd even tell me, like, I don't need you to be that guy.
Yeah.
I've got guys who do that. He goes, you be you.
And see, though, that was the thing is that people didn't, a lot of the folks, they couldn't cut through the gruff exterior.
Yeah.
And find that. And see, like, the first day I figured it out on that part.
Yeah.
You know, because I wasn't intimidated. I was actually excited that he showed up at practice because a lot of times I'd be doing the moves and I'd be getting like, how was it? And I was like, it was okay. It was good.
Yeah.
You know, but I wouldn't get that critique.
Yeah.
And so when he showed up, but he was only there for like 2 months when I was there, and he wasn't in an official capacity, but for whatever reason, when I was in there and when one other cat was in there, he got involved.
Okay.
So he said he liked
Probably
something.
saw something.
Yeah. And so, and I think it rubbed a lot of the other trainers wrong because, it bothered them.
Because here's a guy kind of showing, like, and that's the thing too, like, and I've told Nico and a few others, like, look, I have a tendency, and I've had to fight it.
I know what you're saying too. Yeah.
Yeah, like of going. No, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm not gonna say anything.
I can't do it.
I'm in a position now where I'm the guy who's like, right before the show, me and Justin are sitting there. You know, he walks past and he's kind of in the weeds. I pull him aside. I'm like, man, you remember when we were doing IWE? You honestly think we'd ever be here? And he goes, no. And I'm like, well, let's take a moment. And he goes,
reflect.
All right. I'm like, man, this is the fun before it gets hard. I go, we've got to treat it as it's not bad yet. I go, because again, I am also the guy that after a year and a half, I'll burn myself out.
Yeah.
I'll just work at it so hard, so diligently, not take a break, not take a moment, and then. So I look at Kevin the same way. I'm like, hey man, just enjoy it. I know, like our first television taping, it was like me, Book, Justin, a couple of the announcers, Kevin, and I was like, we just got to enjoy the moment.
Yep.
Book's like, man, you're right. He goes, because you never know. I go, you never know. But at the same time, you know, with the training aspect, I see some stuff that could, and that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
Yeah. I think you got to start the floor because, you know, going back to the Sean thing though, if I dropped a leg drop and it didn't look very good, he didn't go, oh, that was okay. He go, it looks like you had a long day at fucking work and you just didn't give a shit.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah.
And that made me react.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, instead of, well, it was a little bit off. No, I got.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I got that.
Yeah.
You know, and I needed that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be funny. I don't want to be, you know, coddled and babied.
Yeah.
You know, I think. And I've done the same. We've had guys that had worked for other promotions come into our training facility, and they were never trained.
Yeah, yeah.
And one guy hit the ropes, and he hit the ropes. You know how you center and all that stuff? He hit the ropes in between the center and the turnbuckle.
Okay.
And he came off backwards, and I'd stopped. You know, this is like the second time he did it during practice, and I stopped him. And I go, what you're doing right there, I go, how long have you been working for? He goes, 6 years.
Ooh.
And I go, what you're doing right there, I couldn't put you in front of a crowd and justify them paying $12 for a ticket. 10 minutes later, he had an emergency phone call and left.
Wow.
And he never came back. And then all of a sudden I get, you know, the attacks on Facebook. Jason Sullivan's a bully.
Wow. Wow.
Jason Sullivan's a bully.
Yeah.
You know, and so you kind of have to develop a thick skin. Because initially that used to bother me, and now it's just I kind of developed a thick skin about it. And I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, I always try to, and I've told them a couple times, like, I don't, you know, we've got Book, who when he's in there, man, it is like lecture. Yeah, it's just, it's awesome just to have someone who still makes money with a top company. But when
he's got the best job in the world.
Yeah, man, he enjoys it. He enjoys it, which you can just tell he's just enjoying life.
It's the fruits of his labor.
Yeah, and he just really was so complimentary of everybody after the show. Like, it's so awesome. But, you know, when he's not there, you do have that tendency of guys, like, I'm always kind of like, you're just kind of wasting your time in here. If you're not doing drills, I go, we all love to socialize. And that's fun. I go, when we're taking a break, but and I tell them, like, if I'm in here, I'm not wanting to waste my time, nor do I want to waste my bumps. If I'm in here, if we're going to do a match, we're doing a match with a purpose.
Yep.
Let's create a situation. Let's be in character. Let's not just go through. And I go, that goes for drills. Like, you're eventually going to perform, and this drill that you're doing could ultimately be a spot. So let's treat it as such. Like, and if you get blown up doing it, great, because that's you're going to take a break until your next route. So, but yeah, I find it real hard to like. It's been years of practice. Like, would get the practice at Bob's when he was like, well, what you think of this, that, and the other, of not being the guy like, oh guys, you're doing terrible. It's terrible. Terrible. You watch the product much, like WWE, TNA?
I watch WWE Raw. I don't watch like SmackDown. I always forget.
Yeah.
So TNA, I'll watch if I catch it on accident. I don't go out of my way. I actually try to watch more stuff like indie wise.
Yeah.
I go on like YouTube a lot. I've watched a few of you guys' episodes. You guys come on late at night on Saturdays, and so I forget sometimes to watch it.
Yeah.
I've seen.
Plus, you can't. At least with mine, you can't DVR it as a series. You can't.
Oh, you can't.
No, you can record like one at.
So you gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta remember to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know Soul of South now has put all the episodes online. 'Cause for a while there, we were stopping the YouTube. We post like match of the
I remember
week.
you guys were doing that.
Yeah. Now it's like we can do full episodes because I think Soul of South's allowed.
Okay.
I think there was it had to be a deal that had to be worked out.
I think you should always use YouTube. People, I think the thing about the wrestling, especially indie wrestling, is people. I remember like 5 years ago, I started using Facebook as a medium.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it wasn't my only medium.
Yeah.
You know, I was doing flyers. I didn't do radio commercials and stuff because radio commercials is like trying to throw a dart in a haystack, trying to catch people.
Yeah.
You know, and since SmackDown has moved to cable television, it's not even worth buying a commercial for SmackDown. Because when SmackDown was on UPN, it was worth it because you were able to get it on normal TV, you were able to get it on cable TV, the commercial you're putting on, and on some satellite systems.
Okay.
Where now if you buy a commercial for SmackDown, it's so pinpointed that they want you to pay essentially the same price you would pay 4 years ago for SmackDown for the same commercial that you get all over. But now they want you to pay the same price for 1/8 of the audience.
Okay, because you have to pay per region or
it's
per
all
city
regions,
or something.
yeah, and it makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah, because there are some like they'll air in certain surrounding areas. Even like Houston, it's like it'll air in Clear Lake, but
Houston's
it won't.
broke down crazy.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
because they were telling me, a reality wrestling commercial came on, and I'm looking for it online, and I don't see it. I'm going, okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Anything to plug? I know August 30th. You're like, for now. For now. Facing Dark Star, your old foe.
That's gonna be brutal.
Yeah.
I know that he's gonna bring it, and I'm gonna bring it, and if you guys, if you want to see, you want to see some old school Texas violence, because I know a lot of the companies are against that these days. It's going to be a violent mess. So, be careful. If you don't want to bring your kids, don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to get nobody in trouble.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a violent match.
And where's it taking place at?
The North Houston Indoor Sports.
Okay, so they're like their new home.
Their new home.
I didn't know if they were doing it at Okay.
I haven't been there yet.
Okay.
So,
because he made the change, I think, right
when I got hurt.
Yeah.
Because I think that's when the other place shut down.
Yeah, Armadillo. Yeah, it shut down.
Which is unfortunate. That was a cool.
Yeah, because it was really starting to build a good audience. I mean, I went to like a few ones right when he had first started, and it was, kind of, I think it was the remnants of who had ever, I guess IWE went. After I left it, there was like.
There was the broken down IWE.
Died a slow, painful death.
I went there to one show.
Mm-hmm.
One show.
Yeah.
Bob said, "Hey, why don't you go there and check it out? And let me see what you think.
Yeah.
See if you could help them out over there."
Okay.
And I went over there, and there was no help.
Yeah.
They were so wrapped up in what they were doing, and it was a show that I was ashamed to be on.
Well, I ran it. I left it. Became.
You had it in good condition.
Yeah, I left it. When I left it, we were at our peak. Now I took production left with me, and it was kind of you both go. We're like,
and it's different after you left.
So I went a few months later, and kind of, I'd go to a show just to watch, and I'd see. It was kind of atrocious. Yeah, it was atrocious. And the people would be like, I'd even have guys going, man, I'm sorry. I have talent, like, circling the ring. They'd see me and be like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I know. So then, now I'm the TASW champ, and I think Bob was working with IWE, so he did this cross-promotion thing, and everybody was real nice, but it was that
Bob was trying to help.
They were real wrapped up in whatever. And I really felt like, I was like, all right, I'm just talent. I'm just here to do my job. I'm not here to, don't ask me questions. I'm not. And luckily for me, I think because they knew it was still kind of a sore spot, that they weren't going to ask me what you think.
Yeah.
Because I would have been like, it's not a show I ran, so I can't.
I remember I was in this random tag match, never met all these guys, and they were throwing all these ideas at me. And throughout the night, and I'm sitting there, Dark Star. I only knew him from like a meeting at TSW. We hadn't really talked yet.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting back there, and I'm shaking my head, and he could tell I'm getting pissed.
Yeah.
And these guys come up, and they keep coming up with these crazy ideas. About 5 minutes before we go out, and I had it in my head. I go there and I switch the whole match on them. Because they were just all this crap, and they wanted me to do all these crazy double teams. These two little 180-pound guys going to do these double teams to me and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, really? And so then before we go out there, like, yeah, well, how about we do this, this, that. And when I said it, their faces just went, holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, because they didn't know me from nothing.
Yeah.
They probably thought I was just some greenhorn. And I go, the spots that you guys are doing to me, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It does not make no sense.
Yeah.
And so then we came up with it, and I came up with this killer little finish. And then, of course, one guy was way too fast, the other guy was too slow, and they couldn't time their stuff out right for the finish to bump me out of the ring. And everything. And it was just, double drop kick. One guy's already here, the other guy's trying to get there, and so I take a half-ass fall to the mat, because I'm not going to bump my ass, like that. So I go down, and then I'm looking at the other guy going, I'm opening myself up to take something from them, and they're just running into the next shit. So I just rolled out the ring and left.
Oh, wow.
And Bob saw my face. I just rolled out of the ring, and I'm just like, what can I do? I mean, I'm trying to do whatever I can, and it's just.
And then like when I dropped it to Dark Star, I mean we had a decent solid crowd. Then I heard it, picked up some.
It picked up pretty good towards the end.
And then they had I guess the building shut down. Or,
very unexpected.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd, because it was like you finally get into this position where they're paying you to run shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it wasn't $1 million.
No, but it's still the idea, like,
you're
not only is
ahead.
it free, but
and you can leave your ring there, practices there, you can do birthday parties.
Oh man.
All that stuff, and they just kind of.
So after show, win or lose, now obviously you beat Dark Star, then there you go. Yeah, obviously if you can become victorious.
If I become victorious.
Then you probably be back, or you'll be defending it. But okay, so after that,
I don't even know if it's for the title.
Really? Okay, it'd just be a grudge match.
I pointed out in the promo that I'm leaving, so it's not. This is not about the title. This is a personal issue.
Okay.
Because I don't think I should be eligible for a title shot if I'm leaving.
Yeah. Because then there's just no. Wouldn't make story sense.
No.
I mean,
It needs.
But you really just want to kick the crap out of Dark Star.
Pretty much. I just want to beat his ass.
Yeah. What better way than a dog collar match? Oof. And then you'll be going back up to the Northwest.
Yeah, I'll be heading back up there after that, and I've already got bookings lined up there. So
and what companies? ECCW you still work for?
I've talked to them. We haven't locked in anything yet.
Okay.
So, but DOA. I'll be heading back up there too.
Oh, great.
And we'll be running a lot. We've already got a lot of shows lined up through the end of the year.
Cool, man.
And so, and with me going up there, I'll be able. It's better for me to be there to run the show, because I want to get out there and try to grow the company. I've already got one private party booked, and I want to try to get more of those, build up on some sponsors.
Okay.
And that's why I went and cut my hair and everything.
Nice. Got to be business then.
Yeah, I want to. I figured out a way to kind of still keep Jason alive.
Yeah.
And then also dress myself up a little bit so I could go into potential sponsors, and try to do something with the company.
Yeah.
And grow our brand. And so I just can't show up like this. I've got a nice little outfit.
Nice.
And all that stuff, so I can try to grow the company, because. We've got the talent, and I've got the access to more talent up and down the coast. I just gotta go out there and make us valuable.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I really appreciate it. We did like over an hour and a half, so.
Damn.
Good stuff.
Well, you get two people that like to talk.
Yeah, definitely.
Put each other
talking wrestling.
Wrestling.
Oh my God, wrestler. Luckily, I did record.